So this morning across the country, Best Buy had one of the biggest GPU drops that we've seen. I had a friend who went, some pretty crazy stuff that he saw. He did come home with a GPU, but it's not from where you would expect it. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Tiago with Classical Technology here. Remember to subscribe and smash that like button if you like content like this, while it's talking about new developments in the GPU and computer hardware space. So let's talk about the massive drop that Best Buy had. Supposedly was around maybe 17,000 Nvidia RTX 3000 GPUs that would be available in the US across the country. One of the coolest things about this particular drop is that most of these would be the Nvidia Founders Edition GPUs. While they may not necessarily have the same cooler designs as the third-party GPUs, they do have one really cool aspect about this drop is that most of them are the Nvidia Founder Edition GPUs. The biggest thing you have to know here, those are still at their original MSRP from last year. So that's right, a 3070 would be $499 and not $600, $700, or $800 like we've been used to seeing from the third-party partners. Likewise, a 3080 would be $699. Even a 3090 would stay at $1499. Which, although expensive, is considerably cheaper than the 2000 plus prices that we're used to seeing from all of the different AIB partners like MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, etc. So that's a massive incentive for people to be able to line up, even sometimes for hours, even the day before, in order to be able to get one of these GPUs. So I actually had a friend that he went right in the morning. He didn't stay in line or anything like that.
The line starts from there and wraps all the way back there.
There were people lined up to get one of these GPUs as early as yesterday. They were camping out. There were people with tents and chairs. Now, my friend got there, I think it was a little bit before 7 o'clock. Supposedly around 7:30 is when they would start handing out the tickets for people to get the GPUs. And the idea would be when the store, they would open up around 8 in the morning and people would be able to go in and get these GPUs as long as they have one of the tickets. So as soon as my friend got there, this is the scene that he saw. As you can see, it certainly is a very significant amount of people, so it looks like you really have to have been here very, very early. Even around 7 in the morning, way before the 7:30 sort of deadline when they would start to give out the tickets. He said that people were pretty much being told that it's sold out already. Everybody that was there really early were able to get a GPU. From reports that we saw previously, it looks like most stores got under 200 GPUs, and considering that it seems like in some big states, only like 1 to 2 Best Buys were even able to have these GPUs, especially in a populated area. 200 definitely is not anywhere near enough to keep up with any type of demand. That's why I think most people that came a little bit later, sadly, were not able to get a GPU. Now, one very funny story that he told me, a lot of the people that were in front of the line, as he was sort of walking back that way, a lot of them were sort of saying out, 3090 for sale or 3080 for sale, because whatever they had with their, with their ticket, they knew already the GPU they would have. And he said it looked like a lot of sort of that initial front of the line were trying to resell the GPUs, I guess even if they could on the spot, which certainly is something people have complained about. And those people seem to be the ones that are most likely to want to camp out or get there at 2 in the morning or even the day before. Somebody like my friend who just really wanted a gaming GPU, and you're going to see he was able to get something a little bit later in the day, but a little bit differently, and you'll see why it's specifically for gaming. Now, he said that a lot of people were sort of offering GPUs, but he didn't really want to overpay, especially since they were just getting it at a much cheaper price. So I think a large portion of that line, I guess, I don't know how many gamers would be there. It's really hard to say, but at least from the people offering to sell the GPUs that they were getting that day, certainly it seemed like a lot of them were, I guess, what you could call the scalper, along with the cryptocurrency miners. Definitely gamers have them as sort of like the arch nemesis. But anyway, that's what happens. I guess you could figure if they're selling that MSRP a Founders Edition, that's going to be the cheapest you're ever going to get these GPUs. Figure $499 for a 3070. They could probably turn around and sell it for at least double that. Of course, the same is true with like a 3080 or something like that. 3090, there isn't as much necessarily of a markup in terms of percentage, but certainly still selling for a lot more than $1499. So very interesting to see. A lot of people came out. I noticed yesterday that the mainstream media had pretty much picked up on this Best Buy drop. It was pretty pretty much everywhere. So I think everybody that was going to be aware of it was pretty much aware of it. A few days ago, this wasn't even showing up or registering. There was just a couple of leaks and things like that. But as of yesterday, basically all of the major hardware outlets were already sort of advertising that Best Buy was going to have this massive drop. So even though he wasn't able to get one at Best Buy, I had told him often these days when they get drops at a certain location, there's a Micro Center that's not terribly far away. I said, why don't you go to Micro Center and see what's available, because often they may get a shipment very close to when these other shipments come in, like from Best Buy, in order to catch some of those people that weren't able to get it in another store. So he ended up going to this Micro Center, and he actually got really lucky. They had a bunch of GPUs that came in, a few 3090s, and you have to remember these aren't going to be the Founder Edition Nvidia GPUs, so naturally their MSRP is going to be a little bit higher for the third-party AIB partners. So the GPU that he was able to get is an EVGA 4013 3080 Ti, and I believe he paid the MSRP for it. It was about $13.99 or so, which if you're going to game $13.99 for a 3080 Ti, that's definitely a pretty good price considering the market right now. And that GPU on the secondhand market is selling for over $1,700 or $1,800. Of course, the reason it's more widely available, it was there after, even the 3090s sold out before, because it's not really a mining GPU. It has a lot of limitations with the light hash rate, even though recently there have been some news that people have been able to unlock more of that performance. Overall, it's definitely a GPU that more gamers like my friend are going to want to buy. For $13.99 for a 3080 Ti, EVGA 4013, they have a fantastic warranty and everything like that. I think that's a pretty good GPU. I mean, the Founders Edition would have been $1,200, but that one certainly was going to be a lot harder to get at Best Buy. So I think for that price, definitely pretty fair and a lot better than overpaying. I mean, most people are buying 3080s for around $1,500 or $1,600 on eBay still. So to get it for $1,400, I think that's pretty fair. I even recommended that he get that. The other GPUs available were things like 6600 XT AMD. I believe they had a 3070 Ti, maybe a few 3060s and things like that. But I think overall the best value was that 3080 Ti. So at least he was able to get a GPU. That kind of shows you that the momentum has shifted a little bit with these LHR GPUs. They certainly are a little bit more available than something like a regular 3080 or 3090. Those you have to get really lucky or line up extremely early at Best Buy, like a lot of those folks did, and that were able to actually get a GPU. But they're still going to be out in the market, because I'm sure a big portion of that line, those GPUs, they're probably going to turn around and sell them on eBay probably right away today, or Facebook Marketplace or wherever. But of course, that's going to have that very unfortunate scalper markup, which depending on the GPU could be as much as twice the price that they paid. But either you line up early, or you have to overpay, or get lucky maybe in a different store and get like a light hash rate GPU or something like that. At least he paid pretty much the MSRP of it. So that certainly shows that you can still get a very powerful gaming GPU. And although the 3080 Ti is not the best value if you compare it originally to the 3080, the current market conditions are definitely very lopsided. So considering what you can get in the market, certainly isn't the worst case scenario. So let me know down below if any of you guys made the trek over to Best Buy. If you were lucky, what sort of scenes did you see? Were there a lot of people there? I know some of the readers definitely said that they gave up and went back. I had some people that wrote on my previous video that they were able to get a GPU. It's going to depend a lot on the town you're in and sort of how many people actually showed up. So remember to subscribe, leave a comment below, and I'll see you guys on the next video.